Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakak. And I want to say Shalom to Yakin Akwalt out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this one's I won't say a response, but it's inspired, by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai through the Elder Apostle Gabar. And he made this lesson today that I was watching, titled 7 Prophetic Topics We Should Be Speaking About. All right, and when he refers to we, of course, he's talking about, primarily people in this truth. Really, it's, I don't want to say light, but, a light decree, all right, in a way, to the brothers of GMS, make sure you're, not being slack and, do one of these topics. And, it's really, really referring to really the tabernacle of David, the house of David, all right, that aren't necessarily in GMS, but are, teaching in the same way, which should, rightfully do the same. And with that, because I'm not in GMS, but, I try to build up the house of David. I'm sure not working for Saul, Lord willing, no. So, I saw this and I said, you know what? And a lot of these I do, all right. And I said, I want to do one of these today. And in here, it was, to avoid slackness, it was the return of Yahweh Shai, more and more blatant UFO sightings, RFID microchips, all right, especially, it being mandated, obsolescence of cash. And let me get the other ones. It was like in here somewhere. Come on now. Insurrection, race riots, wars, city lockdowns, blackouts, and power cutoff, travel restriction, martial law. Ooh, it's like it. Martial law fully implemented due to terrorist attacks. Put the T there. Abolishment of government programs and freedom of speech drastically limited. So, a lot of different. I like it on this one. I don't remember if I liked it on my other one, but lots of different topics here. So today we're talking about, travel restriction, okay, the mark of the beast, insurrection, okay, and also a little bit about, prophecy is about, the signs of the times, okay, and, so that's what we're going to get in on. Interesting. But, so we're going to get in on it. All right. And what I want to talk about is the mark of the beast. Okay. And as I mentioned, as we get, into Jacob's trouble here, which, pretty much has been declared by, Apostle, Tahar, Slakia. Just got off work, so my brain's running a little slower. But Apostle Tahar, it's pretty much said, with the insurrection, other things going on, we're basically in, and of course we're not in Jacob's trouble. We're in the early stages of it. All right, and like a movie, the movie starts out a little slower, little things happen, but by the end of the movie, that's when all the shit's popping, right? So right now we're just at the beginning stage of Jacob's trouble. All right, so it seems calm right now, but as they say, the calm before the storm. All right, we're waiting on the storm, and one of those things that's going to happen during the storm, and it's like if you hear like little clips in the song, it's a good, I like the beats and stuff they're doing, but this one sometimes they have like audio loops of like I think it just did it, but like people like talking and like making a little comment, little rap things. So slack you for that if it gets distracting. If it's distracting ever, just let me know and I'll try to find ones that don't ever have that. But so slack you ahead of time if that's the case. Wanted to put that out there. But, yeah, man, so, getting into Jacob's trouble, one of the things that we're going to see eventually is, and probably sooner than not, is, the full implementation. Well, not maybe, at first it's not going to be the full implementation, but, we're going to see rollouts of the mark of the beast, all right? And if you don't know what the mark of the beast is, of course, as we already read it, because the Apostle Gabar had it, it is the RFID chip, all right? And it fits... There it is. I might have to switch it. Shit's annoying. But if you don't know what the mark of the beast is, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Okay, and if you can't get over, little stumbling blocks that you have, all right, because the Hebrew Israelites, we say the word damn or piss, or we said a swear word, as you like to call them. Okay, 1 minute. This has got to go. This is distracting me. Oh, that should do. Oh my God! Come on, man. All right, slack you. But hopefully that's better. You might have little stumbling blocks. It's really what it's doing. It's Yahweh Shemi Shai, all right, who the world would English call God and Jesus Christ, because that's not their name. God is a title, all right, and Jesus is a Greek name. And the Son is not Greek, was not Greek, was not ever Greek, is not Greek, has not been Greek, and will not be Greek. So it would make no sense to have a Greek name. And it's not like he was a Gentile scattered abroad. No, he was not a foreigner. He was born in Bethlehem. So he wouldn't have been given a Greek name. All right, that wouldn't make any sense. So and historians even unanimously agree that couldn't have been his name. But the Christians are all hung up on it. All right, that's their favorite thing. They love it. They love that name Jesus. All right, and they love the image of the white man too. So if you can't get it, or if there's something that's hanging you up, you can go ahead and leave. Maybe this just isn't for you. There's no reason, if you're a size 13 or a size 14 shoe, there's no reason to try to fit into a size 5, all right, or a size 4. There's no reason. All right, there's no reason to do that. All right, if it don't fit, hey, don't try to wear it. All right, just move on. All right, and go on somewhere else. So this music's kind of distracting too, but yeah, so a lot of people, they'll try to say something on a comment board like it means anything, not necessarily on my comment board, thankfully, but they try to make little sly comments. They're like, oh, that's not. Look, at the end of the day, we're not here to debate you if something's real or not. All right, we know it's real. All right, you obviously can't differentiate, so that's going to keep a lot of people hung up. That's going to be a stumbling block for a lot of people on understanding what the mark of the beast is. And the fact of the matter is that it is the RFID chip. All right, it everything adds up. All right, it's not sin. All right, it's not white women. All right, certain dumb things that we've heard in the past, but we're gonna get into it. And I mean, once you read it, I mean, it's obvious. So Revelation 13 and 15 through 18, starting out with verse 15. And it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Now, what is this beast? This beast is referring to Esau's rulership system, all right? And it's referring to, I'll actually pull it up. It's referring to, NATO, all right, if you really want to get down to it. And again, if you have a stumbling block that's holding you back, all right, that's one thing. If and the other thing is, not everything's going to be explained all at once. You have to ease yourself into everything. We can't explain everything to make you get it in one video. All right, there's so many videos out there. You just need to watch the videos, keep continuing, all right, in this truth, and then you'll eventually get the understanding. After, it must have been like probably about a year before I got a solid grasp, with all the scriptures and everything. I mean, you get a basic grasp within, maybe like a month. All right, you'll be able to add certain things up, but within your first year, and we don't, unfortunately, we don't have that. Well, unfortunately, but fortunately, right, we don't have a lot of time to just have that slow teaching process. You kind of got to learn it quick now, right? Which it wasn't like that when I came in. You had the time to really study, and then things would eventually slot in. But we're right here in the end. So right now it's the important is getting the meat. All right, knowing the names Yahweh Shemi Shai, knowing how to repent. All right, knowing what the end days are going to be, and then hoping and praying that Yahweh Shemi Shai has mercy on you, right? Because being in this truth for like 6 years. All right, I mean, that's being generous. That's being, 6-ish. I mean, yeah, 5-ish maybe, but around there. All right, but we're coming into a new year, so it would be, potentially 6 years if it wasn't 5. So, and I'll say 6 one more time just because I said it 3 times. I don't want to. Oh, he said it 3 times. I didn't mean to say it 3 times. Sometimes you just say shit 3 times. But So now, if you can't get it, all right, if you can't get it, you're not getting it, then hey, maybe it's not for you. You got stumbling blocks. Oh, these guys say bad words, or they say things about females that I don't like, or oh, they say this or that, whatever it is. Then maybe the truth isn't for you. All right, maybe how Bashmi Shai is having it be like that, so you can't come in, right? Because he knows it's gonna be a stumbling block to you. Or like I said, if certain things you aren't getting, all right, and you're not necessarily bucking up against it, you're not acting buck with it, then you just need to take your time, as much as you can, of course. And we have very short time, but the Lord willing, we're out next year. But I don't see us having anything longer than like 2 years is even pushing it. But 3, man, that's I can't see anything past 3, right? And I can't see anything past 2030. All right, 2030 is that I can't see anything past it. Right, the way we're at right now with Trump and everything like that, it's we're heating up. We got a lot of prophecy that's popping off. As we're gonna get into. But again, you're not gonna get it all the time right away. You're gonna see signs like this, and you're like, well, I need more information, and you'd be well to go, and do your research. Right, there's a lot of different lessons out there by GMS that you can go and watch. That break down things about NATO, the name of Yahweh Shemi Shai, different fundamentals that you're gonna know. Like you can't start building the puzzle without knowing what picture you're trying to make. All right, you got to go and get each piece. So I can tell you about certain things, but we can't give you the rundown in one whole lesson. So NATO's talking about the beast, and why that is, we got to go to this scripture, and that scripture we got to go into another scripture and show you that, and then we got to talk about the great whore Babylon, and then we got to explain who Babylon is, and then go and get the scriptures to follow up that why Babylon is the way it is, and then we have to show you that really Babylon, what it is a spiritual reinvention of Sodom, Egypt, Rome, and then we got to go and get the scriptures that prove that, and then show you who's in rule, and it's the Romans again, and then we got to go and prove reincarnation. And then once you prove reincarnation, now we got to go prove who Esau is, and we got to prove who Jacob is. So we got to go to the scriptures that prove who Jacob is, Esau is. And that, and there, with all that, you'd be having a 30,000 hour lesson, and nobody can watch all that, right? So we can only fit, we got to condense things in lessons, so you're not going to get everything in one lesson. All right, that's just not how it works. But for those that can understand and believe, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is referring to NATO. All right, the 7 heads is referring to the 7 kingdoms of government ruled by Esau. All right, which is Germania Major, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Minor, the British, and the Greeks. All right, those are the primary Edomite governments. And then of course, right on top, you're gonna have Great Whore, America. Right, and then you can just go scrolling this. You can look at it. I'll show you over here. So you have it in full size, and then you can go over here and you can read that if you want to. But yeah, man, there's a bunch of different signs. This is something that I put together a while ago that I wanted to maybe make into a sign of some sort. I don't know, but kind of a little provocative, a little image, but it's not the Savior. It's not him. It ain't him. So but anyway, so now that we've got that, what the beast is, now you know what the beast is, all right, if you can understand and perceive that. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So there's going to come a time when really, worshiping the beast is being down with the clown, all right, being down with Esau's system. And one of the things that he's going to do is, see if you're with him or if you're with the Lord. Are you with Esau? Because you got to realize one of Esau's fundamentals, and Esau being the so-called white man, one of Esau's fundamentals is sit in the clouds. Or I messed up. It's really this one, Isaiah 14:14. And this is Esau, and it says, we'll start from 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? This is Isaiah 14:12, and referring to Lucifer, as a morning star, and it's referring to the devil, and the devil's a man, right? And it's Esau. So in 13 it says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, and in the sides of the north. And got to continue on. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. So he says he's going to exalt his throne above the stars of Yahweh, and he's going to, ascend above the heights of clouds, and he's going to be like the Most High. And you got to ask yourself a couple questions. This wouldn't make sense for it to be Satan, because a lot of people say, oh, that's Satan the devil. Well, first of all, Satan and the devil are two different people, all right? You have the spiritual demon Satan, then you have the devil, all right, who is Esau Edom. The devil is a man, all right? Satan, and sometimes, it can be referring to, the devil, all right? But most of the time, Satan is referring to spiritual demon Satan, all right? The tempter, all right? The one, one of really the Lord's minions, all right, that he sends out on you, tempt you to, see how you're going to act. And, he did it with Job. Everybody knows the story of Job. And mind you, the thing that you need to understand is that at that time, Satan was already doing what he's always been doing, all right? People would consider that Satan was already a fallen angel at that time, and he's not a fallen angel, because angels don't fall. That's bullshit. But people would have already considered him a fallen angel at that point, going off of a false doctrine. So you can't say, oh, he didn't rebel at that time, or whatever, all right, or whatever the narrative is that people try to push, because at that time he was already Satan, all right? He already fell, right, as you would say, right? And he didn't, but I'm using your terminology. So he was already Satan, and while he was already Satan, okay, the Lord said that he can do whatever, all right, to Job, but don't kill him, all right? Save his life. And Satan didn't kill him because he couldn't, all right? Because he works for the Lord. Why he was quote unquote already a fallen angel. There's no fallen angels, all right? Nobody rebels against none of the angels rebel against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And mind you, Satan, it still is one of the Lord's an angel of judgment, really, or if you really want to get down to it. But there's a name for it. He's a he's basically one of the sons, all right, one of his sons essentially, all right, because it says the sons of the Lord came to present themselves, and Satan came also, right? Now, there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them, okay? And really, you say, oh, he came among them because why? Because he was also one of his sons, all right? Because he works for him, all right? That's why he couldn't kill Job, all right? Because he works for the Lord. So, with that, if he's working with the Lord and, can't do anything above the Lord, that brings us back to Isaiah 14:3. If you're saying that Lucifer is referring to Satan, then why would he, exalt his throne above Yahweh when he can't? He works for the Lord, So, and that's the other thing, this Christian rhetoric doesn't make any sense, because you'll say, oh, the Lord's all-powerful, he's omnipotent, but then you'll go and say that Satan can just go and do things, outside of the Lord's control. Then the Lord wouldn't be omnipotent, all right? He'd lack control. So which one is it, man? It shows you that these Christians don't understand, the fundamentals of the Bible. They don't understand how things work. This is referring to man, okay? This is referring to man. And man is doing this not because they're outside of the Lord's control, all right? The Lord is having them do this. They're working as a puppet to put along the Lord's agenda, right? Everything has to go for a reason, all right? There's certain things that have to happen, Slacky, in a movie, all right, for the movie to keep on chugging, all right, and everything's a movie. The Lord has everything going the way it goes because He's meticulously set up a plan, and everything has to go in a certain order and a certain way, and we're going to prove that a little bit later, Lord willing. So remember that the Lord has everything set for a reason, all right, and it happens in a way that happens for a reason, all right, that is sometimes outside the comprehension of the human mind, okay? His ways are higher than our ways, all right? His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. He's on a different level, okay? In the truth, we're on a higher level, but we're still not on the Lord's level, all right? Because he's thinking in a way that, as for a human, is almost incomprehensible to understand. Okay, to be able to do everything perfect is something that, as a man, you know, the only way we can understand doing everything perfect is that's what the Lord does. That's the only way we can understand it. There's no human role model for us to, you know, look at and say, oh, you know, this man right now on this earth does everything perfectly. Okay, you know, this is great. All right, this guy is great. He's the greatest. He's perfect. All right, even Yahushua said, you know, there's no one. Why callest thou me good? All right, no one good but the Father. All right, and he, you know, as Yahushua did not sin. All right, he did not commit any wickedness. So, and he still passed that on to the Father. Okay, so, you know, to show you that, you know, how big of accomplishment it really is. And so back to Revelation 13:15 through 16. So, you know, that beast, the image of the beast, is that white man, because he wants to be like the Lord. Okay, and that's why he's going to implement this beast system. All right, this mark of the beast. Okay, it says 16, and he causeth all, both small and great. So people, you know, small of stature, great in stature, all right, whether it be, you know, notable or unnotable, right? Rich and poor, whether they have lots of wealth or not a lot of wealth. Free and bond, those in the prison systems and those that are out free, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And this is really referring to, in the hand, it's referring to the mark of the beast being the, you know, the RFID chip. And in the foreheads, you know, they have Neuralink, which is really the brain chip, all right, the brain mark, all right. It says, and, you know, the forehead, just, you know, like Neuralink's trying to do, it's really only going to be used for those that are disabled, right? It's not going to be something that people get that can have, you know, the full mobility to be able to get it in their hand. You know, it's something that, you know, it's like a pass. You know, if you can't move your arm, or if you're going to put it up, it'd be much easier for you just to have your forehead scanned, right? So in 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And this is where people try to get slick. They say, oh, what if I get the mark on my butt cheek? Or what if I get it in my big toe? Then it's not in my right hand or forehead. You know, is the Lord still going to reject me? Yes, because it says, in that no man might buy or sell. So that's the other thing. This is going to be a situation you're not going to be able to buy anything or sell anything unless you have that mark. It says, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So it doesn't matter if you got it in your left nipple, your nose, your nostril, your tongue, all right, your left pinky. It don't matter on where you got it. It's the fact that you got it, right? In verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And what man loves that number oh so much? Esau. They put it in everything. All right. Matter of fact, I got a Zevia sitting next to me, which is these stevia sodas. All right, they don't have no sugar. They literally have like carbonated water, natural flavor, which is, I looked it up, and apparently it's from essential concentrate. Stevia leaf, and then the most harmful thing in it is citric acid, right, which is a preservative. But it's not even that bad. But if you look, I won't necessarily go and put on the camera to show you the barcode on that one. Not that I'm hiding anything. I mean, I could show you, but it's on every barcode. You can go and look up the barcode. All right, you can see all these different barcodes, right? Stuff like this. And if you know anything about barcodes, barcode number key. All right, so it used to be a better one than this, but that's just what we're gonna have to deal with. But it's this one. You can go and look at all these on how they work. You know, how zeros, ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, sixes look. So we're focusing on 6, as in 666. Okay, and you can see it's line, blank, line. Okay, for a 0, it's blank, 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 line, blank, line. That's a 0. All right, a 2 is blank, blank, line, blank, blank, line. Okay, for a 5, it's blank, line, blank, 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 line. A 7 is blank, line, blank, line. Okay, so, and let's see. So if you look at 6, it's blank, line, line. All right? So what you need to see is this pattern, all right, and how they look. All right, so a 6, okay, a 6 looks like this. All right, there's multiple different ways. You can see barcodes. Some of them look different, but they all look different. Okay, they all look different. So, but the main thing, goddamn, my foot's killing me. The main thing that you need, god damn it. So the main thing, we'll just use this as an example. You see this 6? Line. Okay, this is a great example, as a matter of fact. I'm saving this. Because this has all the 6s in the right places. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So, this shows you perfectly how everything lines up. So you got this 6, all right? And you can see what the 6 is. It's line, right? And you can see it, right? 6 over here, line. The 6 is over here, line. Now, if you look on the end, you look at the middle, and then you look at the left, look at the middle, and look at the right. What do you see? Those same lines. So everything starts with 6, has a middle of 6, and ends with 6. Okay? Showing you that it's... Or really, if you go and show just any barcode, even this one right here, you see how they all start with it? Line. These are all 6s. 6. Every single line, every single barcode. You can. I implore you. All right, look at any barcode. We'll go and just grab. I'll just show you. Shit. So my hair's a little crazy, but probably won't be able to see it too much. You can kind of see it. It's hard to photograph like glossy material, but you should be able to see. My nails are crazy long, so like you. But 6 on every single one. All right. I wish I had a bigger barcode. Shit. Actually, I might. Let me check this World of Warcraft box. Yeah, this will be fine. So right here, I just have these as display items. So old barcode from back in the day. Come on. You see them? Right there at the end. 6. There's the 2 lines. 6. Right? 6. And then right in the middle, as they always do. Right? See, look at that. Random. This is a random one. Just random. Just right off the shelf. Right? Let me see if there's anything else I can find. Shit. I have an empty box over here of Zevias. Alright. There you go. See, same things. Left, middle, right. Every single one of them has it, man. Every single one of them has it. All right, you can look. I mean, if there's a barcode on this Bible, it's probably even on it. You know, I don't think this one has a barcode on it. No, this one doesn't have a barcode on it. But suck you. But yeah, man, pretty much anything that you can find out there that has a barcode on it, it's I'm trying to see if any of these have a barcode on it. Nope, these ones don't. But yeah, man, you know, I implore you, go ahead and look. Hell, let me go and check this out. Right? I just bought these Lara bars. These are actually pretty healthy. But you know, hell, I just got these today. Then you can go and look. Come on. See, same thing. 6, 6, 6. It's always, they always make it the longest on the left, the middle, and the right. that back over there. But yeah, so they all have that. These long lines right here, long, right, long, 6, 6, 6 every single time. Almost every barcode has it. I've seen some that doesn't. All right. You see left guard bars, right guard. That's what they call them. Left guard bars, right guard bars, and center bars. Okay, but the center bar, they're the same as a 6. Okay, they're the same as a 6. So actually, let me go and see. So let's go see. It's probably gonna lie, but on a UPC retail barcode, each bar is a different number. Correct? So so it still goes back to 6. It says so 6 digits, then the center, then 6 digits, then the end. So start 6, center 6, end. So they say the center is 5 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how they're doing that, but it says each digit in a UPC barcode is encoded using 7 bars. Individual bars do not represent separate numbers. Well, that's not what the other thing said. So the left, and right guard bars and the center bars stand for what? Sure. You know what the funny thing is? We found another 6 just by doing this. There's 6s all throughout it. So in binary, so the start is 101, the end is 101, and then the center is 01, 01, 0. So if you add up all these 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another 6, okay? So there's 6s everywhere. We found that they're not, of course, they're not going to give the proper information. I'm sure, Esau really knows what it is, but they're going to, even the people that instruct, how to make UPCs, they're probably not going to know everything, all right? You got to keep certain things hidden. But tell me why all the 6s, if you look at any 6 on a bar, they always end up looking the same. They all have the, so why do all 6s look the same on a barcode then? It says all 6s on the same side of the barcode do look the same, but the 6s on the different side of the barcode look different, even though they represent the same digit. Well, hold up. Hold up. Let me go and see. This is a different side. Look, the 6 is still line. Look, this is the left, middle, and right. That 6 looks like that. All right. The middle 6 looks like that. And there's no really. Oh well, there isn't a 6 on this side. But if you look at there wasn't a 6, but there's a 6 on the like left, middle, and then on the right. So this 6 looks the same as this 6. That looks the same as these two 6s. And then these two 6s look the same, because look at an 8. See how long they are? Look at the 6s. Look at an 8. See how it's spaced, right? Look at a 1. Look at how thick a 1 is. Look at a 9. Look at an 8. They all look different. But the 6s, that's a 6. That's a 6. Okay. That's a 6. That's a 6. These are still 6s. These are still 6s. If you brought those down, they would still be 6s. So 6, 6, 6. You know? They're bullshitting you. All right? They're bullshitting. If you just know how to do the research, you can tell. 666. This one, see, when they're like this, you can't really tell, right? Because they're all flat. All right? The flat ones you can't really tell. But on any of the other ones, 6. This is like a weird. So this one doesn't. See, this is a rare scenario where I said, oh, not all of them have 666. Here's an example. This has a 6 here. That's like a weird. I don't even know how that. It's kind of a 6, but it's like weird spacing. I guess it kind of does have 666 if you really want to get down to it, because it's saying this is a 2 or a 7. This is a 6. This is kind of a 6, but with a weird spiky bit down. There's different types of UPCs. But you can see on this 6, 6, and the other side is a 6, 6, 6, 6, right, and so on and so forth. So that's that number, man. 603 scoring 6, and they're gonna use that same number, all right, and that mark of the beast, man. They gotta have that number somewhere in there, right? So unless you have that, you're not gonna be buying or selling nothing, okay? And it ain't a credit card, all right, because you got and the way we can prove it's not a credit card is you're going to receive it in a mark in your hand or in your foreheads. And when you go back to the word mark, all right, and we ain't talking about a fool on the street, all right, we're talking about a physical engraved mark, okay? So you go into this word mark, receive a mark, it goes back to the word charagma, that goes back to the word charax. Okay, this word right here is charax, okay? Charax, okay? And you're going to get the word charagma, which means a stamp and imprinted mark. So it's imprinted, not necessarily stamped, but imprinted, all right? It says a mark branded upon horses, a thing carved. So it's something that's an actual physically carved, like it says graven. It's something that's actually graven. If something's graven, it means to engrave on a surface, to cut into, right? To cut into. If you go back to charax, it means a pale, a stake, or a palisade. If I go and look up pale, stake, palisade, there you go. Now, I go look up RFID chip. This is a hint. How do they do it? That's how they do it, man. That's what they do, right? That's what they do. That's how they do it to you, right? And there you go. It gets implanted right there. All right. So, yeah, that's what happens, right? Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. And people are already doing it now willingly, right? So for about what $300, you can do it yourself, all right, and fuck yourself up for life right here, all right? That's what you can do. How much is it? Well, there's our $3. I bet those aren't the good ones. You know, $2 for those from China. You can get them even cheaper now. Shit. I remember back in the day, I used to see it come up. You know, dangerous thing. Yeah, they're getting cheaper and cheaper. They used to be like $200-300. See right here. Right. I guess there's different ones. But yeah, $200. XEM RFID chip. I don't even know what the difference is. Right. So, you know, now you can get them for fucking dollars. Right. You can get them for dollars. Yep. So that's what it is, right? But and if you don't have that in you, you're not, and yeah, we know that phones have NFC and RFID technology, and we know that credit cards or debit cards with tap technology, that's RFID technology. But the thing is, you don't have it in your hand. That's where it comes from. You say, why is it going to get? Because it's going to be biometric. All right, they're going to make a whole different thing. They're going to say, oh, well, phones are not reliable. They're easily hacked. We need to have the, Esau's a liar. All right, he's a liar. So he's going to make a convincing lie out of it. All right, his words were smoother than butter. Let's go and get that. Because we got what the mark of the beast is. That's one of the primary prophecies we're waiting. All right, and for a time and a season, it's going to be optional. All right, they're going to roll them out. All right, they haven't even rolled them out yet. And they're going to say, oh, you need to get. It's kind of like what they did with the Maxines. All right, they said, oh, get these. It's gonna be good. And then it could the point, you can't work this job. You're gonna be let go if you don't get it. We're not gonna hire you if you don't have it. You can't be allowed into this venue or concert venue if you don't have it. And bugged out people thought, oh, well, this must be the mark then. No, that's not it. The mark is gonna be something physically input. It's gonna be a chip, and you won't be able to buy or sell without it. Okay, and they weren't putting it in your right hand or in your foreheads. All right, so it's going to be the RFID or the NFC or any of those, radio frequency identification device or a near frequency, whatever it is. All right, those different RFID, NFC, all those same technologies. They're similar. It's going to be, that. All right. Well, I didn't get an RFID. I got an NFC chip instead. Still got the shit. All right. Still got the shit. Similar, very similar technologies. So what we wanted to get was smoother than butter. Tell you how these Edomites work. So Psalms 55 and 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So, war was in his heart. He knew he wanted to destroy you. And what it really goes back to is being a digital all. Okay? No. So right here, we got to go up from the first verse. This is Exodus chapter 21. So this is really what Esau wants to do. All right, they want to bind you to them as their servants forever. Okay, so Exodus chapter 21. So all the RFID chip is like a digital version of the all, right? Or a digital version, of the all, the piercing. Or it's the digital all, right? So Exodus chapter 21, it says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. More rules that Esau didn't pay attention to. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, she have bore him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, that's what Esau wants. They want to say, I love my master. I'm staying here with you, right? I love my master, my wife, and my children. I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, right? So, they can witness the process. And she shall also bring him to the door and under the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So it goes back to eternal servitude, all right? And then what this goes back to is, and this is why this is the ultimate test for Yahweh Shemi Shai, is whose side are you on? Are you going to be, do you want to be in eternal servitude with Yahweh Shemi Shai or this devil? All right, and if you do it with, and there's really no eternal servitude with Esau, all right, because he's going to be thrown down, all right? He's going to be destroyed, okay? So it's not really going to be eternal, but you do get eternal servitude and rejoice with Yahweh Shemi Shai. You don't get shit with a white man, but it's going to look like for a time and for a season that, you made the right decision, because it's going to look like people ain't going to be able to eat, but you want to say, I can eat. All I trust in my government, right? Why would Trump do us any harm? I got it and I can eat. And then those fucking food reserves are going to, run out. How do we know that? More scripture. All right. This is Isaiah 65:13. And it says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed." Right? And you're going to have a lot of people, people trying to run up in the woods. They're going to try to bug out, as they say, a bug out bag, right? And you're going to end up just eating each other, all right? This is Isaiah 49:26. It says, that ain't it. This is 2nd Esdras 15:58. It says, "They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of blood and thirst of water." You're going to be so hungry and thirsty, you're going to be chewing on your own skin and slurping at your own blood. All right? That's how bad it's going to be. Horrible. Speaking of that, I'm going to grab some water. That's how bad it's going to be, man. And, with that, and before that, there's multiple ways they're going to do it. Martial law is going to be implemented. Okay? And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a time where, you won't be able to go anywhere. But if you get that mark of the beast, you might be able to go someplace. But it's not going to be, that's going to be more so when it's mandatory. But there's going to be a time where you'll be able to go freely if you were going to have that mark. But it's going to come a time where, you won't be able to go anywhere unless you have that mark. Say sorry, all right? And it's going to be mandatory if you want to go somewhere. Sorry, you're trying to leave, you're not going to be able to. And then it's going to come to a time, on top of that, where even the people that got the chip are not going to be able to leave, all right? There's going to be martial law. There's going to be all sorts of shit going on, all right? You're going to have fucking, what do they call them? Curfew mandates, all right? Go inside. They're going to have fucking tanks in the street. All right, and you're not going to be able to do anything. And really, the people, the same way that people got fucking scammed with the whole vaccine. Oh, if I get it, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get sick or ill. All right, and then they got it and still got sick and ill. And they're like, what the fuck did I even get this for then? Here it is, I got this because they said I wasn't going to, get the shit. And I got the shit, and now I have the shit. So what the fuck? It's going to happen, they said, hey, you said we were going to be able to eat and leave the city. Now we can't even fucking eat to live the city. What did I get this shit for? Then you're going to have cancer spreading through your body because there's going to be a soreness, a sore that falls upon, the people that got the mark. All right, and that sore is just going to be cancer because it's going to cause all sorts of shit because it's going to have, more than likely, with long-range frequency, they say it's radio frequency with short wave, but, the ones that they're going to use are going to be more than likely long wave. And, with long wave, you have to have it can't be passively powered like RFIDs generally are. They're more likely going to be active power, and the active power is more than likely going to be a lithium cell, all right, that can be, remotely charged somehow. All right, whether it be, you're near something, it charges in the air because you pass by certain stations, and it's like, that wireless charging technology, or who knows, all right, maybe they'll have like a super powerful lithium-ion battery or something like that, where, you charge it once a month or something like that, and if it dies or something, you'll have to charge it. They can charge it up right there in that station real quick for you and get you back up and going so they can scan your shit. But like 2nd Esdras says, 2nd Esdras 15:17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You're not going to be able to, right? You're not going to be able to. And it goes on to say in verse 18, really this whole, from 14, you can read the whole thing. In verse 18 it says, for people, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So it's going to be a terrible, terrible situation. It's going to be a terrible situation. And we're already getting into the early stages. All right, we're already starting to see minor insurrections. So 2nd Esdras 16:70 through 71, it says, for there shall be in every place and in the cities, and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So they're going to come and try to be, destroying the people that believe in this truth. And they're going to get a couple, all right, because the Lord's going to allow it to happen through martyrdom. And really that's, and we know what we got involved in this. All right, you're going to have to die for your beliefs sometimes. Not everybody. All right, of course, there's going to be a lot that don't taste of death. And then, of course, there's going to be some that are martyred. Okay, and at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens, and we don't, want to die brutally, but I mean, if we had to, for the sake of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I guess that's what has to happen. All right, and that's the most righteous way that you can go. All right, and that gives you an instant, all right, VIP to onto the chariots. All right, you go up there, immediately. All right, on those chariots when they're back, if they're killing you during those things. So you get, you're going to be, killed up, but you'll be on those chariots getting you'll be the first to see the destruction in those chariots. You'll have your front row seat. All right, and you'll be like, oh, here we go. Are we starting up, Lord? Oh, here we go. See that first missile hit? Boom. It hits a building. Oh, shit. You start seeing all the people running, getting afraid. Yeah, man. You have a first row seat safe on those chariots. All right. And like I said, you say, oh, die brutally, and that makes people scared. The Lord could, pull your spirit out of that in a heartbeat. There we're getting ready, right, to carve your face off. The Lord pulls your spirit out of that. And, he's courting you, puppeteering your body down there, making it look like you're suffering. And that person don't even know there's not even a spirit in that body. You could have it, or he could have it happen to you, but you don't feel pain, or that you don't feel pain as much. Don't even feel that. You just feel a hot sensation or something like that. You don't feel, all the pain or something like that, right? And then he pulls the spirit right out you, right up in the chariot, right? So we don't know necessarily how it's going to go, right? But we know the power of the Lord, right? So 2 Esdras 16:70 through 71, it says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." So, yeah, man, a great insurrection. What is an insurrection? And the funny thing is, when you look up insurrection, what do you get? News about insurrections going on right now. All right, why Trump hasn't invoked the Insurrection Act yet. How Trump could use the Insurrection Act to send troops to American cities. What is the Insurrection Act? It's an insurrection, man. An insurrection is a violent revolt or rebellion by a group of citizens or subjects against their established government or governing authority, or by a specific set of people, whether it be Hebrew Israelites, whether it be the citizens. All right, he's launching a insurrection on the citizens of the United States, really. All right, it says it is a distinct from a mere riot because it involves organized effort to challenge and overthrow governmental authority, often through armed means. All right, and you can go and look up, can a government launch an insurrection on its citizens? Well, think faster, Dan. It says, short answer, not in the literal sense, but what most people use insurrection. It says, which is an uprising by citizens against their government. This is an uprising of the government against the citizens. It's the opposite. But yes, the state can and has used tactics equivalent to an attack on their own population, repression, state terror, false flags, and other measures to dismantle citizens' rights and safeties. Is that what Trump is doing? It's they're filibustering. They can't go crazy. But yeah, man. So that's how it's gonna be. All right, that's how it's gonna be. And I think. Let me see. I think I'm gonna close it here because I got 4 more scriptures that I just went through them. You can read them if you want to jump ahead, but I think I'm gonna pause because we've been going already probably an hour. All right, yeah, 54 minutes, and I don't want. One thing I don't like to do is have it go too long. And I had a math tutor one time because I was bad at math. I'm still not the greatest at math, but he always told me something that stuck with me. He was an Edomite guy, but it's a really good thing that stuck with me. He said, if you ever come in here, because I would walk down there and I'd go there, like every few days. And he said, if you're ever feeling like you've got a lot of information and you're starting to feel burnout, or you're starting to feel like, there's a lot of information that's gone out, it's always best to take a pause and come back at a later date, because it comes to a point where your brain gets so filled with information that you cannot cram any more in there, and you'll just start to forget. Okay, and that's why I try to keep my lessons no longer than really an hour, because an hour is basically around what they have a movie. All right, and people can stay that long. But even me, when it's a 2-hour movie, I'm like, oh my god, man, this movie's really long. Start thinking about other things, start getting sidetracked. So I like to keep it around an hour. So really, this will be the first part, and then we're gonna try to come back tomorrow and finish up the second part, which is I'm actually gonna take a photo real quick, and my camera will bear with me. So I know what scriptures I have for tomorrow. But yeah, man, and that's what's happening right now. We're getting into Jacob's trouble. All right, which we're gonna really talk about more about what Jacob's trouble is, tomorrow. But really, all these things are really, the start of in launching of Jacob's trouble. Okay, and you really got to be able to identify these things, and that's what really tomorrow's lesson, the other 4 parts of this is really about identifying, what time we're in. All right, and we're getting into Jacob's trouble. Right, we're right here. So you got to be able to identify what's going on in the world. You got to understand that there's all these things are prophetic, okay? And as we'll, transition this and end this out by going back to the Elder Apostles video, again titled, 7 prophetic topics we should be speaking about. And what is prophetic? What does prophetic mean? It means accurately describing or predicting what will happen in the future. Okay, accurately describing or predicting what will happen in the future. Okay, predictive, far-seeing. All right, prognostic. Okay, another word would be apocalyptic. All right, but oracular. All right, so knowing what's going to happen before it happens, and we know what's going to happen before it happens through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, through the scriptures. Okay, all these things. People, oh wow, look, this thing in the Bible really happened. Of course it did. It was a prophecy. All right, it was going to happen. Okay, and we're in a time of prophecy right now. And that's why, the Apostle Gabar made this lesson, 7 prophetic topics we should be talking about. There's a lot of things to talk about. Prophecy. As a man, our primary goal, is to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And through doing that is to, do his work and will, which is teaching and, letting it be known. All right, make it known to all nations. Make it, how does the scripture go? Not like that, but how's it go? Let me get this, and we'll close out. Then shall you teach among all nations, then shall the end come. Right here. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So it's got to be a witness unto all nations. All right, people got to hear about it, and that's what we're doing. We're spreading the word and the gospel, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So, prophetic. All right, which of course things in the Bible are going to happen because they're prophecies. All right, which means it's foretelling what's going to happen in the future. Okay. And we got a lot of things that are, happen to come, things to come, all right, that necessarily haven't happened yet. And, hey, man, a lot of different things. So maybe, I'll add, 4 of these, and then maybe I'll add to it. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about chariots. Maybe I'll talk about, something else. All right. I don't know. I'll just go with the flow through, go with the spirit, all right, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So, but that's where we are going to close it today. Like I said, I don't want to push too much information all at once. It can get a little confusing. And a little, like stressful, right? But that's where we're gonna close it. All right, Lord, what was edifying? Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. And remember, if you're still itching for more lessons, your brain can handle it. Hey, man, 24/7. You can go to this brother's page right here. All right, well, elder apostle. All right, brother in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, of course. But apostle, you can go here. I'll give you a bunch of channels. Boom, boom, boom. You can go and get right here. Boom, 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 boom. Who else? There's one more. All right, boom. There's so many. You can go through here and look at them. But I'll give a couple shout outs. Of course, the one that's now hiding it again, even though I unsubscribed and resubscribed to try to get him at the top of my list. No, there he is. Actually, I lied. Never mind. But so he's in here. Never mind. But you got GMS South Carolina 08. All right, that's the elder not the Zotbod down there. All right, in South Carolina, you got Apostle Gabar, of course, as I showed. You got GMS Apostle Street Ministry. This is the street ministry. When you see Apostle Gabar, I think it's Bishop Shakaran and Apostle Dahar. All right, they all go down there and teach. All right, live on the streets. All right, you got Apostles Live GMS 34, which this is the usually it's just Bishop Shakaran and Apostle Gabar that do it. Then you got what is a 666 Mark II GMS Truth. This is the Apostle Dahar. All right. Then you got the brother Amawan Gabar. All right, GMS Awakening 144. I think he's in New York as well. I think. I'm bad with that. And then you got the Apostle Ramalab. All right, down there as well. All right, GMS Infodoc Channel 12. All right, you got Remnant Save 144. This is I believe this is the elder Yasha Wamba out there down in GMS Dallas. All right, you got GMS North Carolina 777. This is the elder Hawad. All right, I believe this is the elder Hawad. Let me go and see his voice. He is a
people here fall back. The man of sin, the devil.
Yep. That's elder Hawad. All right, he's got a very what's the word? A very noticeable voice. Right. I just remember when he goes in the news. Right. Hey man, these brothers, man, they're on it. And so yeah, you can go and check out them if you need more edification, man. They're always live, always popping. All right, always got something going on. So and there's if you ever want prayers, you can go here. This is GMS Quick Prayers. If you ever want to see there's so much, man. There's so much. The brother Yuan down there in GMS Dallas as well. You got who else, man? You just got so many. You got the Apostle Tahar's old page, GMS Declaring the End. A lot of edification still to be done on here. All right, so but yeah, man, there's so many. You can just keep on going and going. There's so many. The one of the Apostle Gabar's old page, Edification Exhortation. Lots of good stuff on here as well. So yeah, man. Lots of good stuff. All right, so that's a lot of stuff you can go and check out. You want prayers? There's actually a couple for prayers. I believe this is another one of Apostle Tahar's old pages. But yeah, man. So there's a lot. A lot of stuff out there. A lot of stuff. So you know where to get it. So yeah. Again, with that. Until the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.